Alright, welcome back everyone to this new video tutorial about advanced multiplayer lobby, and I'm going to open up our to-do list. And in the previous video we did the change of color stuff, and I forgot to make you change something that's going to be really fast, and we're going to jump right into the proper ready button. What that's going to be is a ready button that every player has to press in order to tell the host that he can now start the game. And the start button will be disabled for other player than the host, and the button will be disabled for the host as long as all players are not ready. So first thing we need to do is to tell our player to tell our players who is the host. So how are we going to do that? Actually, it's pretty easy. When a player joins, let's create a new variable of type bool, and let's say it's called outGameController is host. By default, it is false. It is false replication. I think we don't need to replicate that. And we're going to say, well, I mean, no, we don't need to replicate that. So when a player joins, if the index here equals 0, I mean if the player that just joined is the first player is the first place person to join that game, that means it's the host. It will always be the case. So we're going to add up a small branch here. We're going to say if that equals 0, that's the host. So we're going to tell that guy, the new player that just joined, that his host equals true. So we can't access his host from there because that's a player controller, and we need to cast to our type of player controller if we want to tell him that he is the host. So set so I get the wire, I pulled the wire, I cast it to our outgame player controller, I got our variable we just created, I'm setting it, and we're going to say that right after we create that. If it's not the host, just continue, and if it's the host after doing that, just continue. I think it's fine. So now we get someone who knows if he's the host. So I'm just going to pull that out like that, and we're going to disable the button if you're not the host. That's going to be pretty easy because we can simply say get the variable isHost, and if so, you're going to see, open up our outgame menu, reveal, well, actually we already had our multiplayer box revealed, so that's perfect. Get our start game button, and is enabled. We are going to bind that, create binding, and we're going to get our owner. So my owner is host simply, and we're going to pull that in, and that's all. And I think if we hit play, only the host will be able to start the game. So can he press the button? No, he can't. Yes, he can, because he is the host. So that one is going to browse the server list, and he's going to join the server we just created. And I think he won't be able to start the game because he's not the host. So that works. Afterwards we will add something to that to say our players ready, basically. So how are we going to do that? Well, we have an array of players, registered players, that has a length. So that length corresponds to the number of players in the game. So I believe we're not using that variable number of players anymore. So we're just going to rename that and says number of players ready. And we're going to need to bind that ready button that we created before. So we're going to bind that event. We're going to say, hey, get my owner, and what do we want to do on our out game controller, because that owner is our out game controller. Well, we want to add a button that say we want to add an event, I'm sorry, that says you click the ready button, change its text to make it says I'm ready now, and next time you use me, it's going to unready me because you want to be able to unready yourself. That's also going to say to the game instance, hey, I'm ready, add me to the increase the number of ready players, and if ready players equals the length of the array of players we got, that means you can start the game. So a simple event will handle that. It's going to say clients ready button pressed, and that's going to be run on client with a new pin. Do easy reading or easy unreading. Unreading. We're going to say on or off. So when we receive that, we're going to tell the server to call the game instance. So server change player ready status with a new boolean on or off. So that's going to be run on server. Client ready button pressed is going to call change ready status like that. Handle ready logic. So how is it going to be now? That is going to say, do you wanna add or remove a player to the list of ready players? Well, actually, that's just going to call an event on the game instance that is going to call an event on the host that is going to enable the ready button, I believe. The start game button, I'm sorry. So how is it going to be? How are we going to get our hosts? Well, the game instance can just store the host, I believe. Game hosts. We're going to make that an outgame player controller. And when we get our player controller and telling him is the host, we are going to get that player controller we casted and to store that. Wonderful. And what are we going to do now? We're going to say we're going to create a new event on our controller that says toggle ready toggle start game button with a new boolean on or off. Once again, that is going to be run on client. We're going to get our menu. We're going to get our start button, get button, and multiplayer lobby start game. And we're going to set enabled. Set is enabled to the parameter we just created. So that is going to enable it and disable it. We're going to go back on our outgame menu, and we're going actually to destroy the binding we just created. It's no longer being handled by the binding we created on the is enabled. So actually, what did we do? I mean, that's the start game button we want. So we're going to remove that binding. We're going to delete that binding completely from there, and we're just going to set that button is disabled by default. That's fine. So where was we? We were there. So that says, hey, tell the server we wanna say we are ready. So the server is going to get the game instance and cast an event on that. We're going to create a new event. set player ready, and that is going to say to ask is the player ready or not. Oops, without the star. I think that's good. Set player ready. If the player is ready, increase the number of player ready. If he is not, decrease the number of player ready. Easy. So I just press plus plus and minus minus to get both of these nodes. So if a player unreadies, it's going to say, hey, there is one less player ready. And then we are going to say get game host, toggle start button. If a player unreadies, it's going to disable the start button. And if a player readies, we're going to check if that integers equals the length of our registered player array. So that might actually be not what we want to do here, because if the host arrives, then it's going to be enabled by default. I mean, and every time someone connects, it's going to disable it, I believe. No, because no, we are not doing that. So when a players connects, I believe we need to trigger that event and saying is off and saying is unreadying, and that will do the trick. I don't know if you followed me, but that's going to work, guys. So if our number of players equals the number of registered player, let's say we get the hosts and we enable the game start button. So we need to say player joined. I mean, no, I'm sorry. What does that is? What is that? Set player ready. We need to say set player ready on or off, like that. And we also want to say here that the minimum value of number of player ready equals 0, so we can say max int 0. Whoops, I'm sorry, I don't know how to use that in like this. Well, I think that works. So that says minus that by 1, but never less than 0. So I think maybe we should do the same thing with that, but I'm not sure. We're going to experience how it behaves like this. So like I said, we need to trigger that when a player connects. So when a player connects, he will cast client get ready button press equals false. I mean ready button pressed, can't I? Ready button pressed equals false. We're going to compile, save, hit that play button. We're going to see how it behaves. So we're going to host a multiplayer game. We're going to create. I can't hit start game. If I hit ready, oh well, I forgot to join that. Game host, none from toggle start button. Oh well, why? Why didn't he get our player host? The index of the newly added item. Well, is the game multiplayer? If not, add to the queue with yes, do that and this and that, and set the game host to that. Well, shouldn't it be working? Well, if I remember well, on our main HUD, we're not calling that event. Ready, client ready button pressed equals true. We're going to flip-flop here. Flip-flop. First time we're going to ready, second time we're going to unready. So we can even change the text inside the start game inside the ready button. So ready text, get ready text. If I press the ready text, if I press the ready button, we're going to set the text to unready. And if I unready, we're going to say, hey, that text equals ready. So we can see what's going on in the first place. So let's save, let's try that out. Host multiplayer game, create game, ready, unready, ready, unready. Oh, why doesn't it work? So we're going to have the same error than before. Why is there no host here? Host here. So we're going to check if the host is set. Ah, I know why. I believe I do, at least. Do we do something if it's not multiplayer? No. Is it multiplayer by default? No. So why is it doing that? Set multiplayer. When I host a game, I come here and say, well, I'm just going to print that host thing and we're going to see what that says. Well, I believe that's going to say, no, that doesn't work. Else it'd be working the other way around. Host multiplayer game, create, and it doesn't. Oh, yeah, it finds me. So if I ready, that works. If I unready, that works. If I ready, that doesn't work anymore. Like it was losing information about me. I'm not sure why when I unready, it will lose information about me. If it's equals false, number of player ready. Maybe that just bugs. I don't know. Why will that bug? Maybe I'm using that not properly. Let's just say that for now. Strange behavior we get there. So I can ready. Oh, I can unready. Oh yeah, I know what that doesn't work because the max was properly working and we were making sure it never goes below 0 and it went below 0 because we didn't reset that number. We are not resetting any variable here, whereas we should be. So I'm not sure why would he lose the game host. Why would he loses the game host? I'm going to pause that real quick and get back to you. Okay guys, I found out what the error was and it's not working, and we're going to do some things differently. So let's go back to our player controller and let's say when we're ready, instead of going here, we're all so let's go back on the controller. Instead of doing that, we're going to say in the first place, let's open up our outgame states. Let's get our states. Let's check that. P states is ready. So we are creating a new boolean variable that is going to be replicated. It's going to say if a player is ready or not. And in the top outgame controller, we're going to get our player state that we don't have as a variable. So get player states, cast to our player states, get that, and say is ready, set equals ready, our parameter in, plug to our parameter in, and we're going to say that event does not need any pin. It's going to calculate if lobby ready. That's going to be much more easier. So the outgame controller is going to say, hey, calculate if lobby ready. And so we're clicking on our button that readies us. And if the player is ready, it says his player state is ready. So far we're good. Then it says calculate if lobby ready. The game instance is going to, going to delete that. The game instance is going to get all actors of class. Well, I mean, nope. It's going to say get registered player, loop through them, calculate if lobby ready. Actually, we're even going to make that a function. So let's cut that out. Let's delete that. Compile, save. Let's delete the event on the player controller. Let's go back to the game instance. Let's make a new function. Calculate lobby ready. Let's paste that. It's going to loop through all players, and it's going to say get player state cast to outgame player state. We could have created a reference variable beforehand that would have been nd now, but we don't really care. Is ready. Get pstate is ready. We want to promote that to a variable, to a local variable, I'm sorry. We want to promote that like this to a local variable. That variable is going to be called temp bool. So that is going to say, hey, get all players, get the states, are they ready? And when it's going to be finished, we're going to toggle the start game button for the host. No, actually we're going to return a parameter. So calculate lobby ready. We're going to build an output called is lobby ready of type bool, and we're going to plug that temp bool in it. So back to our controller. The controller is going to ask the game instance, is lobby ready? Calculate lobby ready. And we're going to call that toggle start game button with the parameter we just gave as an output in our function. And I believe that is going to work perfectly. So I'm going to hit play. So if I host a multiplayer game, can I ready and unready? Yes, I can. If a player is joining, what is going to happen? I believe it's going to unready the start game button. Oh, it did not. So if I readies, it unreadies my button. Yeah, obviously, because I'm doing that everywhere. I'm doing that everywhere. So actually we're going to, well, how are we going to do that? So I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to go on the calculate lobby ready, and instead of having a small output node, we're going to delete that. We're going to say get game hosts. Is game host valid? Is game host valid? We're going to tell him to activate the ready button. Server change player ready status. No, I don't think that's it. We want the toggle start game button, actually. Toggle start game button. and it's going to be that parameter we passed there. Toggle start game button. So I believe that's going to work. Host multiplayer game. Can I ready and unready? Yes, I can. And you notice we get rid of the error. So I'm ready, a player joins. Will this unready me? It should join. It does. If I ready and this one readies, that enables the button. If this one joins, well, this one refreshes the list of server. That's going to unready the host. It can ready. The host can start. Maybe the host is not ready anymore. Oh, is the host is not ready anymore? You can still start the game. Why is that? So if everyone unreadies, that doesn't work. And if that one joins, what happens? If that one joins and says it's ready, oh, it's enabling it. So I believe, and if he readies, it doesn't work. If he readies, it works. So why? Maybe I'm not resetting the value on the player state. Well, I do actually. So why wouldn't this work? So get all player state. Are they ready? Oh, I know why. Indeed, I did stupid things. So if the last player I'm looping in is ready, it's going to ready the host. So obviously I don't want that. Obviously I don't want that. So how am I going to do that? Well, let's have a new local variable called temp inc int actually. That's going to be an int. We're going to say at the beginning of that, set that int as the value, the length of that array. So let's say that. Then let's say we have a new, let's say every time a player is ready, we are saying temp int decreases, and in the end, let's say that got rid of our error. So if temp int gets is equal to 0, we can, let's delete that temp bool. If temp int equals 0, we can toggle the start game button because, well, you know, we have 3 players, so temp int equals 3. 3 players are ready, temp int equals 0. When we finished, is temp int equals 0? Yes, enabled button. So that should work properly, I suppose. So he's going to host, he's going to create. That one is going to join. They are all going to join actually. Ready, unready. Wonderful, that works. Is ready. That player is joining. It won't be ready anymore. Now we unreadies, that player readies. It doesn't enable that. Now he's ready, it enables that. He's going to join. That one is going to refresh as soon as that player connects. So refresh. So the host is not ready anymore because that one connected. That one readies, the host can start, and so forth and so on. So I believe that works as planned. So if everyone unreadies, the host cannot do anything. Everyone readies and it's fine. We're going to get some colors because we like colors. We're going to start the game and everything shall work properly, I hope, because we didn't touch anything from others variables. So yep, that seems to be working. So I'm going to close that. That's going to wrap things up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.